Good morning. Hi, I'm Kristin Omdahl, and welcome back to Yarn on the Beach. This is episode 94, and we're here in Southwest Florida. This is the Gulf of Mexico behind me, and we're waiting on the sun to rise over the buildings and the trees in the east. It's a pretty mild morning here, not too windy, and we have some incredible wave noises going on already. Beautiful background music. Seen a few birds so far. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining me. I'm guessing some of you had notifications work this morning, hopefully. For anybody who was having trouble with notifications yesterday or any day recently, I wanted to let you know that I have been made aware that there are some tweaks and changes going on with the notifications. So what I suggest that you do is after the live broadcast, go over to my channel, check where you see the red subscribe button. There's a bell button there. Click it. You have an option now of getting no notifications, some notifications, or all notifications. So if you want to be joining me live every day for Yarn on the Beach, you'll want to make sure you click the all notifications option. That's all I know about it. Okay, good. Sarah, you did it already. Wonderful. You know, it's all up to you what you want, but Beatrice is like the cow's tail, always behind. I've never heard that one before, but I love it. That's funny. I'm the early bird that gets the worm. It runs in my family. We are obsessively, notoriously early for everything. It's a very analytical thing. I schedule things down to the minute when I'm getting ready to make sure that I'm never late, but because I work so hard at it, I end up being early instead of on time, which is the other side of annoying, right? This is actually not a shrug. I had an idea this morning to take the Jordana cowl, Mobius, which I'll show you. It is one of the projects in my new book, Motif Magic, and I'll show you how we styled it in the book so you can see how different it looks with the way I looped it around my shoulders. So it's a twisted Mobius that you can wear as a capelet like that, or there it is flat so you can see it as a twisted Mobius. And there's a couple other pictures of it. You can also wear it as a cowl, worn long. You can double it and wear it as a cowl, but today I decided to throw it over my shoulders to wear it like a shrug. So you see it in the back. It's just the two loops wrapped through my shoulders instead of over my head. And you can play around with it, and if I pull it up a little bit higher, if I pull up the lower loop a little bit higher, I can pull it down a little further in the front, and it totally looks like a fitted shrug, doesn't it? Yes, it is a very bohemian wrap, and it has so many different ways to be worn that I think that that's kind of fun. I love it when I can figure out how to wear something more than one way. I like to keep my sample book in a box so that I don't bang it up, because I take it in my box with samples in Dolly the Wonder Wagon, to and from the car every day, to and from Knitting and Crochet Club every Tuesday night, and I figure with all of that movement it would show a lot more wear and tear than a normal book really quickly. So I figure the best way to keep it looking nice and fresh and new is to keep it in a box. So it's working so far, because after all these weeks of taking it everywhere I go to help promote it, it would look pretty banged up by now, I would imagine. I'm not the most graceful person with handling things. I'm a little rough around the edges. Oh, thank you, Raina. I'm so glad you like your yarn. Wonderful. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining me. I am getting close to finishing my short sleeve cardigan with the Be So Fine Bling collection. Oh, good morning, Maria. Happy birthday. So I've got most of the shrug cardigan. I've done short sleeves on both sides now. I added a, oh, excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. So I've added a beaded edging. Thank you, Sarah. Good morning, Edna, around the edge of both sleeves. Thank you, KB. Thank you, Annie. And I've also begun that same beaded edging. I'm attached to my shoe now. Whoopsie. I started that same beaded edging from the center of the neckband, and I've worked it all the way down, all the way across the neckband, all the way down the front edge, along the lower side front edge, up the side vent, down the side vent, across the back, and now I'm going to do it across the second side and up all the way back up to the center, the center of the neck. And I'll show you how to do this beautiful edging. It's different than the edging I showed you yesterday. It is a chain 5 and a 3 double treble cluster worked into a stitch, a spot, whatever, and then you move your crochet hook the length of the height of those stitches to the side and single crochet, and what that does is it turns the whole cluster on its side. So now that I've set it, I'm going to show it to you. So I'm going to turn the camera now so I can show you how to do this beautiful edge, and it is something that you could do on any kind of a project, whether it is knit, crocheted, fabric, whatever. This could be an edging on anything. Okay. So just to start with, I'm going to show you that I just finished one of those clusters I just mentioned. So now I'm going to move my hook down the way a bit to single crochet, and notice how it looked vertical for a second and now it's horizontal. See, all of those clusters are sitting horizontally. It's because of where you put the single crochet after you finish the cluster. So I'll do the next cluster, chain 5, and I'm going to work a 3 double treble cluster in that same space that I started the chain 5. So yarn over 3 times, insert your hook in the same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and through 2. We now have 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over 3 times, insert your hook in the same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and through 2. We now have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over 3 times, insert your hook in the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and through 2. We now have 4 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops on our hook. So we have our chain 5, 3 double treble cluster, and now we're going to single crochet further down the fabric. And by single crocheting further down, we've now turned that whole cluster on its side so that it's now horizontal instead of vertical. Pretty cool, huh? And you can see how beautifully that edges the fabric. It doesn't stand out. It's not a flashy edging. It's very elegant and simple and beautiful. Okay, so if you would like to see more detailed information about how to do a double treble cluster, I highly recommend checking out my library of crochet stitches, which you can find on my website, as well as in a giant playlist here on YouTube, where each one of the stitches in there is done with its own dedicated, I need to get comfortable. I have back problems this morning, and every day when my back is stiff, it makes it harder to sit down. But okay, now I'm fine. So every video in there each is dedicated to a stitch. So if you watch the 3 double treble cluster stitch video, for example, you're going to see it close up for right hand, close up for left hand, and then slow motion. And it's a short video, obviously, because you're just learning a stitch, and you can watch it over and over and over again and work right along with me, play, pause, whatever you need to do, and learn the stitches. I think it's a great way to learn a stitch, because then you don't lose your focus with learning a whole pattern, with learning this, that, or the other thing. You can sit there and just focus on a stitch. And I think it's a really great learning tool when you're learning a new stitch. If you're joining me live this morning, please let me know what you're working on. And if you're going to join in the recorded version later on, please also tell me what you're working on today. Beatrice doesn't know how I can sit. You know, I prefer to sit on the floor than sit in a chair. That's why. Even at home, there are times when I would rather sit on the floor than sit on the couch. Don't know why, but I do like to sit on the floor. And time of day matters. Early in the morning is actually my most challenging time of the day for back trouble. I feel like when I wake up from sleeping, I am the most stiff. And today just happens to be a stiff morning. Really, you'd need a chair too, Sarah. Oh, I much prefer to sit on the ground with a blanket. Some of those chairs I can't get out of. Annie's doing embroidery on a top. That sounds wonderful. Edna agrees sitting on the floor is more comfortable. The challenge for me is to sit on the floor, not get the camera shadow on me, make sure that I'm facing the sun and not get anything weird in the background and still be interesting. It's all the other components that make it challenging. If I were just sitting here and not trying to frame anything in a camera, it's a little easier to sit too. Elizabeth's working on my lace sampler. Wonderful. I made that while I was in Miami a couple years ago, last year maybe, watching Marlon at a tennis tournament. Sometimes I remember the projects from where I was when I made them. Like, for example, the Sweet Clara top I made while I was flying from one show to another. I had been doing a lingerie show in New York with Eucalan for promoting Wrapture, and I was flying across the country to Santa Clara, California for a Stitches West event, and it was during those flights that I designed and crocheted the Sweet Clara top. So when I got there, I thought that I would name it after Santa Clara, so I called it the Sweet Clara top. Someone's got a new puppy. Oh, that sounds fun. I like babies. I like baby pets of any kind. Jenny, you've got the new puppy? That's cute. What's his name? Mar, I drank my tea in the car this morning. I don't know why, but I didn't save it till I got here. I drank matcha green tea, the immunity blend, which has echinacea and elderflower in it. Oh, a black lab, how sweet. I had a white lab when I lived in Israel. His name was Rasta. Oh, you named it Sasha. Very nice. Labs are sweet. When Marlon was a toddler, we were walking around in a garden just past sunset when it was a little bit dark and, you know, getting dark at that twilight hour. And Rasta was barking up a storm, and I was letting Marlon toddle around. He was just starting to walk, and Rasta was getting very intense with his barking, and it turns out he was trying to warn me that there was a scorpion on the ground. And I will never forget it as long as I live that Rasta saved our lives that night, because he was able to warn me to get Marlon off the ground because there was a scorpion. It's one of those really special memories that I'll just remember for the rest of my life. He was a special dog. He had a heart of gold. Loved him dearly. Yes, dogs are smart and loyal. Yes. He was a special dog. He loved us very much. We loved him too. Thanks, Melissa. Here comes the sun. Feels so good on my face. Not cold here, but it's chilly this morning. Oh, Raina's making the Raina hat. Wonderful. I love hearing that. That's awesome. It's an easy project too. It'll be nice and relaxing. I hope you enjoy it. Marissa got her package yesterday. Wonderful. Annie, your dog saved your mom from a snake bite too. That's awesome. Just wonderful. I bet you'll remember that as long as you live. Sandra, I'm finishing up a short sleeve cardigan. I'll show you when I finish my next stitch here. I'm doing a simple beaded edging on a short sleeve cardigan, and if you watch the playback, I did a short demo this morning on how to do the stitch. So I've done short sleeves on both sides and done a little simple beaded edging, and now I'm doing a beaded edging all the way around the perimeter of the cardigan, which means I started from the center of the back neck, working around the whole side, did the one of the front edges, up the side vent, down the side vent, across the back, and now I'm working on. I missed something special Darlene talked about. If anybody wants to tell me what's special with Darlene, let me know. Yeah, so hopefully I'll be with, Annie wants to know with amigurumi what you put inside. Polyfill is pretty common for putting in there, and that's the same stuffing you find in a pillow. Sometimes you can find it in craft stores where it's sold without being in a pillow. If anybody else has a better idea for amigurumi stuffing, please feel welcome to chime in, but that's what I have used in the past. Have a great day, Karen. Thanks for joining. Yes, labs are very family friendly. Although I have a weird story to say about a lab as well. As much as I love labs from our time with Rasta, when we moved to Florida and Marlon was, oh, I don't know, maybe first grade, we went to another family's house for a play date, and their lab was so spazzy. He had so much crazy spazzy energy that even though he was just excited for the company when we walked through the door, the family couldn't control him, and he was running around the house, just complete spaz, and he ended up biting Marlon in the back and literally biting a chunk out of his back, and had to take him to an emergency walk-in clinic, and he didn't need stitches, but the doctor had told us that day, and I was on the fence about taking him because I'm like, what do you do? He's not bleeding. It's just like a chunk of surface flesh, but it was a chunk. You know, there was an indent in his back with scrapes from teeth. And so I took him to the doctor. The doctor told me, yes, you absolutely come whether you have blood or not. Once the skin has been pierced, the amount of bacteria in a dog's mouth has such a high level of, such a high risk of infection in the human body that he needed to be, whether he needed stitches or not, he needed to get on antibiotics immediately. So, glad I learned that. I will always remember that and always share it ever since. And poor Marlon has had a fear of dogs ever since. It's too bad. So every time we come across dogs that I feel are extremely mild-mannered 10 years ago, so he's definitely gotten better about dogs, but it's just sad. And I don't understand what that was all about. What to do even in a mild bite. He still has a scar on his back too. Probably always will at this point. Yeah, it was sad, and you know, it also is a good reminder that animals are animals. They're unpredictable, and to always treat them treat the situation with respect and don't take things for granted. You know, I'm definitely a lot more cautious around other people's pets since then. Your own is a different story, but other people's pets, even I have a much more heightened and cautious state of mind around pets because of that. So I definitely see where he's coming from. And for it to have happened in his back, I think that actually adds more trauma. Couldn't even see it coming or defend himself. Yeah, someone else said they're cautious too. I think it's the frequency of the waves that sounds so relaxing today. They're a little spaced out, but man, is it so relaxing and pretty, huh? So today, when I get back to my office, I will be shipping orders, winding yarn to ship orders, shipping a bunch of orders today. So thank you to all of those customers who placed orders of yarn and stuff. And then throughout that today, I'm going to be preparing, which yarns am I preparing to dye today? I'm preparing Be So Serene and Be So Lush for dyeing today. So I've got a couple more days still to decide on what colorways I will be dyeing them in. I have a color palette in my head. Like, there's one color scheme that's just burning inside my heart right now, which means I know it has to come out. And it's like there's something special that happens just before sunrise sometimes, where the sky, you know how after the sunset the sky lights up and you see all those beautiful colors? Well, in the morning here the sky does the same thing. So before sunrise, like when I'm getting to tennis in the morning, I see these really warm orange, peach, and violet colors all blend together. And I want to somehow combine that for a colorway. So that's one of the colors that I'm planning in my brain, and then just trying to figure out what else I'll be doing. But I have a whole bunch of Be So Lush and Be So Serene to do. So I think I'm just trying to decide if some's going to be in solid, some's going to be in variegated, and whether things should match or just be different things. So as long as I'm still prepping it, which I've got a couple days of prep work still, I've got some time to figure all that out. But exciting. Then I have, oh, and then I have more bling on the way too. I have more the Be So Fine and Be So Sporty bling on the way, all coming to me undyed. And so after I'm done with Serene and Lush, I will be preparing those yarns and then dyeing them hopefully next week. Cheryl, I am working with Be So Fine yarn in the bling collection for this project. This one is Be So Fine. Oh, that's special, Beatrice. I have heard of that before, where dogs were helpful in seizure situations, and also actually could be trained to be a watchdog for people with in situations like that. That's really special. Elizabeth wore her jean jacket with inside pockets, not having to carry a purse. That's fantastic. It's awesome, isn't it? It actually gets spoiled. When you don't have it on, you feel a little lost. I have a vest version of it that I wear in the summertime because I feel lost without those pockets. Bye, Sherry. KB just did her dishes and now she's getting requests. That's funny. I made a new batch of my vegan probiotic cream cheese this week, and I added sun-dried tomatoes to this version. So when I get back home this morning, I'm going to try my new sun-dried tomato cream cheese, or non-dairy cream cheese, on sprouted grain toast, and I'm pretty excited to try it. I always like sun-dried tomato cream cheese regular when I went to a bagel shop, so I'm excited to try it in my vegan version. Definitely need to make my chive version again too, because that was so delicious. It's amazing that by adding a probiotic and fermenting it a little bit that you get that tang of real cream cheese in a cashew-based cream cheese, not a dairy-based. It's crazy, just crazy. It's hard to believe, but pretty excited to try my sun-dried tomato version this morning. So I think I mentioned yesterday that I'm working on shopping locations for book 15 right now. I have a completely different concept for this book, and although my vision for the front cover is different from the locations that I'm shopping, hopefully I can still combine the two thoughts together, the two visions together, because the location that was presented to me yesterday? Oh, days just blend together. It's either yesterday or the day before, I don't remember now. Yesterday. I think it's going to work, and like I said, the concept is totally different. It's going to be a ton of models, which is something I've never done before, and lots of moving parts. And so it's definitely outside my comfort zone, but I'm excited to do it anyway, and I will have more information for you as time goes on, but it's really coming together and pretty excited, just nervous excited too, because I haven't figured it all out yet. But the location was beautiful, and I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to go with. So that's something to check off the list. So next we'll be getting the models together and seeing who looks good in what, and figuring out how to style each person in which one. Everyone's got lots of works in progress. Good. You know, having multiple projects at one time is good, because if you get slowed down by one, if you get frustrated by one, or you get bored with one, it's great to be able to bounce back between different ones. Marlon's great. Thanks, Faye. He is in a tournament this weekend, so in fact, Saturday mornings, Yarn on the Beach may or may not be at the beach. It may be on location at a tennis tournament, depending on what time he plays. It's possible I'll make it down to the beach first, but not certain yet. But he plays at a tournament down in South Naples this Saturday. So I need to make sure I have a solid project to work on, because this one's going to be done today. So I'll need to make sure I have a project with lots to do, but not lots to think about, because when I'm on the road, I don't like to have to think about design elements. I like to just get the heavy work done. You know, not heavy work, what would you call it? The the legwork, the stuff where you don't have to think so much. Marissa, I cannot decide yet. The next book is going to be on layering pieces, so it'll be vests, shrugs, stuff like that. And I can't decide if I want to split out a knit and crochet one or make it combined. I know there was a lot of requests for Motif Magic to have both knit and crochet in it, but now as an experiment, I'd like to see if something would be better received separate or combined again. So I'm not sure, so I'm still debating that. I have plenty of pieces to do them as 2 separate books, or I could do it as 1 book. I don't know, so I'm just still kind of on the fence about that as well. I don't even need this anymore, it's warming up. And then just to remind you how this goes, how we wear it otherwise is that we wear it as a cowl, long and loose, or you can wear it doubled up like this, which I think this is so cute too. I love it. I love wearing it like this. And it looks cute with this top too. I haven't worn this top in more than months, years. As of this morning, I am now down 17 pounds, 17, 18 pounds, somewhere in that range. Jenny, cooking and crochet. You know, I'm not sure. Sometimes I get excited about combining cooking and crochet. I've had a concept for it for years for a book, and then sometimes I think I need to keep it separate. You know when you try to do things outside your comfort zone and then you start second guessing yourself? It's like I have a million, hi birdies! Oh, those little birdies that came right up to the blanket, little cuties. So I have all these ideas that run through my head all the time, and then I say, oh well, that won't work. You know, that fear craziness kicks in, and then I get stopped. Like, I have lists and lists and lists of different book ideas that I just have not brought to fruition because of fear and wondering what people are going to like. So I need to get over that. That's great, Beatrice. I know, Edna, Curious George is missing. Oh gosh, we've definitely gone over time though. We can talk about books again tomorrow. If anybody wants to share their feedback, you know I'm always open to hearing what you're interested in, because there's no point in making books if you guys aren't interested in them. So let's bring up this subject again if you'd like. But for now, let's take one last moment here to soak in this gorgeous view, listen to a few more of these amazing waves, and set our intentions for the day. Did you see the dolphin? There's a dolphin right there. Did you see it? Can you see him there? I think there's 2. Can you see them? Oh, wonderful. I hope you guys got to see the dolphins. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me here today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your days to spend a little time here on the beach with me. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye.